And welcome into another episode of Tiger Territory, part of the Foul Territory Network, a Detroit Tigers podcast. I am Kieran Steckley. With me, as always, is Cody Stavenhagen. And joining us, the third Texas boy of this Detroit Tigers podcast is Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson, what's up, man? How you doing?
Man, hey, I've been doing good. I'm glad to be on here, man. This is a good little thing y'all got going, man. So I'm excited to be a part of it, dude.
Well, the timing is impeccable. So this is our first podcast of the new year. So we're debuting Austin Jackson on this new look podcast that we've been doing the past several months. Be sure to like, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to us on YouTube. That continues to grow. We're very excited about that. Austin, I think maybe the best way to start is just kind of like a little bit of a life update from you. I know you've been still getting, still involved in the game. I remember listening to you with Dan Dickerson when the Tigers played the Rangers here a couple of years ago. What is life for Austin Jackson post baseball, and then what you've been up to more recently?
Yeah, man. So yeah, I was doing a little broadcasting there for a little bit with the Tigers with Dan, and just kind of dipping my toes into it a little bit. I think at the time I wasn't fully committed to it, but got two kids, 8 and a 6-year-old, helping coach my little boy. So that's something right there. Working with 8-year-olds, that's interesting. You're gonna see some interesting stuff out there. Been investing in some real estate, have a couple rental properties and things like that going, and really just trying to stay involved in the game, trying to get back into the game a little bit. With a son, playing the game, you kind of want to, keep yourself involved and knowing what's going on. So much stuff is changing in the game now. So I want to know what's going on in the game still, and I want him to be up to date on what's going on. So, but that's been it. I mean, it goes by so fast, right? Like you look up and you're like, wow, I've been out of the game 6 years. Here I am right now. So.
So for those of you who haven't been following along, who haven't heard our teases in the past, Austin's going to be part of the Tiger Territory family. He's signed on to do, several shows a month with us. Not every episode, but he will be a recurring co-host. So we're obviously thrilled to have someone with the knowledge, the experience, someone who was an exciting player, a member of great Tigers teams. But as a writer, I think I got to share like the imagery of the first time I met Austin, right? So at winter meetings, we're in Dallas and we set up a meeting, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I was like, all right, we'll see how this goes. Well, Austin walks in, man, 10-gallon hat, boots, country as can be, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be awesome. And went on to share some good stories. You're living out in the country. You got some acreage now. Tell the people how that's going.
Oh man, I'm in the country life right now, so I guess I'm not going through a midlife crisis. First of all, I'm just, what I mean. Like sometimes you got to switch it up, man, and the tablets and all the the technology with the kids, and we didn't have that when we were younger. We didn't have it like that. Like outdoors, that was our playground, and just having to use your imagination, and it just hit me one day. My son is in there on the tablet and he's, just talking about stuff that I'm like, dude, what are you talking? Like, go outside. Like, what are you talking? So I just, I wanted to kind of recreate that with them, and they love it. They go outside and they get to use their imagination a little bit, man, and just enjoy the land. It's peace and quiet. Now, what I am starting to understand though is I like people though. I still like to see people and stuff. So we out here in the country, you ain't, it get a little quiet sometimes. It's like, hey, I need to see a person though. So I'm, that's one thing I'm questioning. But no, it's great though, man. We got chickens, we got longhorns, dogs. We're thinking about adding a couple more animals to the farm. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, I think we're pretty settled in with the animals that we have, but it's cool, man. It's a cool life. It's chill. I got to get out there now and do the work myself. It's something about getting out there on the zero turn and throwing the headphones on and throwing some beats on, and and just just it's kind of therapeutic a little bit. But it's some work though. It's some work. I say that.
Yeah, those that have listened to us from the beginning know that I love things that connect unexpectedly. Like Cody and I going to college together, and then he gets the job covering the Tigers, so then we get to do this podcast, and then I to go back to that meeting with Austin. He says that he lives in the town where my wife grew up. So he's like, I was just there the other day. I was probably in your backyard helping the in-laws with some of that work that goes into living on properties like that. So yeah, I just love it when things kind of work together. And that's another reason why I think this is going to be a great fit here on Tiger territory. All right. Let's kind of go back to your playing career a little bit, Austin. You, as Cody said, you were part of some very memorable Tigers teams. There's a whole generation of Tiger fans that are younger than us. That's their teams. Those are they're maybe a little too young for 2006. Certainly too young for 84 and 68 and 45 and 35 and all that stuff. So your era is kind of their formidable year. So I guess just going back, if I were to just ask you, when you think about your time in Detroit, what kind of comes to mind? What's kind of what are the kind of the hits that come up when I just say, what was it like playing for the Detroit Tigers?
Man, that's crazy you said that though about, people not remembering. Cause like I do this cameo thing, and there was a lot of people that were like, there was a lot of kids at that time that were like 10 and 12 that watched us, and now, they're grown adults. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy that they're 20 something now, with kids, and they're like, man, I remember, this game and this game. And I'm like, dang, like that's pretty cool. But no, a lot of the things that I remember about my time in Detroit, I mean, the clubhouse, man, was second to none. Like everywhere else that I went in my big league career, it was pretty evident right away that the clubhouse was like, we were so united. Like we're a brotherhood. And I mean, and you're like that with all clubhouses, right? But it was something about that clubhouse in Detroit, man. It was like, it was a brotherhood. There was no cliques. Everybody, everybody got along. Everybody got along. We were from all different walks of life. We just meshed really well. And I think that when we started kind of adding some different pieces in there, some other veteran presence, that just kind of changed the clubhouse even more in a good way, that, they were bringing their knowledge, their expertise, their, experience over to a clubhouse that was already really, closely knit. And dude, it was unreal. Like you enjoy going to the clubhouse. You enjoy going to work because you're about to cut up. Dude, we cut up so much in that clubhouse, dude. It was crazy, man. It made all the daily grind of baseball. It just made it, that much easier to get through. And obviously we're playing a kids game, right? But there's some ups and downs with throughout the season. And when you got a group of guys there that are essentially your brother, because you're there with those guys more than you are basically with your family. And when you that group, man, they helped me for sure through some tough times. And I mean, just the laughs and the memories that I always cherish with that group. That was really big, my time there. And that's times I'll never forget, man.
So I was going to ask like the kind of the cliched question. Like, you played with Miggy and Verlander and Scherzer, and you played for Jim Leyland, and we can talk about the greatness of all those. But you got me thinking, and I think what I really want to know is just like, who was the funniest dude you played with in Detroit?
Man, I mean, there's a few now. Like my when I first got there, Inge he's probably one that took me under his wing a little bit, and just kind of showed me the ropes. But he's sneaky funny though, like weird funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that weird funny where it's like he has to trust you. You gotta know him. He's not just gonna come up and open up to you like that. Like he has to trust you, and he has to make sure you ain't you're not going to be one of those guys that, you're telling everybody's business. Like that dude, he was awesome, man. And super funny, super down to earth dude, man. And wow, it's just wild, man. Like that dude, like he kept it loose, man. And honestly, that was big for me when I first got to Detroit. Because, I'm trying to prove myself, it's a lot of, pressure there to, try to prove myself. So he was one that, really, really took me on his wing, but super funny dude. I play with, Andy Dirks is actually sneaky funny too. He's like that country funny, like, like I'm a key, like I said, he got like this little grunge to him a little bit. Prince Fielder is hilarious, man. Prince is funny. That dude, we still keep in touch a little bit, and we crack up every time. Like there's not a dull moment with me and Prince. So like me and Prince, I don't know, we kind of have similar personalities a little bit. So we're like we're like on that same page where like you got, there's a serious meeting going on right now, and you'll cut. That one friend you got that you'll cut your eye, and it's like, don't look at me right now. Like, don't do that. Y'all, like, like the teacher or the manager, like they'll say something and they'll say it wrong or kind of like stutter, and then like the dude to cut your eye, you're like, oh gosh, like why did I do that?
That was Cody and I in college.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that was me and Prince, man. Like me and Prince, we just had a real cool bond, and that's the dude that I really, to this day, really still keep in touch with too.
So I was going back because this is sort of like a common occurrence. We've talked about it several times on this podcast, and Cody's written about it. There's been like an E60 about it, but the Armando Galarraga near perfect game should have been perfect game. That's a prominent part of your highlight reel there in the ninth inning, Austin. And so I'm kind of curious. We've heard from Cody's reporting other stuff that's been going on about like, what they remember from that game, and then some of the fallout from it. I'm curious, like you're on the field, you're there, you're how much of that is going through your mind in the moment about like, this perfect game, and then the play itself, and I'm not throwing a lot at you, and then just your reaction when the safe call comes. I'm curious your recollection of that kind of a monumental day in Tigers history.
Yeah, man, that was like I remember just that whole, just the way I felt like it was yesterday. But I'm glad I got schooled earlier in my baseball playing career on what to do when something like this is happening, because like before I would go up and like talk to the pitcher, or I'd be like, man, you're doing, and they're like, dude, what? You can't say that. I'm like, why? He out here killing, like he's throwing a no-hitter. They're like, bro, what are you doing? Like I didn't know, but I'm glad I got schooled on that, because that whole time in the dugout and just seeing how everybody is just trying to act like we don't know what's going on when we all know what's going on. Like a bunch of grown men walking around like robots, like we're not we're not a part of something that's crazy right now. But I remember being on deck. I forgot who was hitting. I don't know. It might have been Don Kelly, I think, or I don't know who it was, but I was on deck, and I remember, I don't know if they struck out. I think they got out, and I just remember I was walking down the stairs, and I was like, I'm gonna have to make a play right here. Like I'm telling myself that so I can be ready. I wasn't really thinking like, right now you about to have to make a play. I'm sure everybody's saying, hey, you have to make a play. Like, get ready. That's what you're telling yourself as a player, because you don't want to be out here like not focused and just had that little lapse real quick. And so I'm like, hey, you gotta have to make a play. I'm putting my bat in there. I'm putting my helmet on, in the helmet deal, whatever. And I'm just like, dude, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You're gonna make a play right here. You gotta make a play. I remember talking to Brookie, our outfield coach. He was like, hey, we're gonna play a little shallow. I'm like, what? We ain't even gonna play shallow. Like, what you mean? Like, it's 420 back there. If somebody jams shot, I can't get back to. Like, so I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, I understand it now. Obviously, why you would want to play. You're trying to take away the little blue pit, but at the time, I'm like, dude, what are we doing? And lo and behold, you go out there, you're playing shadow, you're looking, at your corner guys, and just like you're trying to figure out the spacing. That's what you always do. That you're trying to figure out your space, and everybody knows pretty much everybody's range out there. So I'm just looking over. I'm making sure that I'm guys know that our spacing is correct, and we're playing shallow. Hey, we're in, fellas. We're trying to take away a little blue pit. We ain't nobody's thinking that nobody's about to crush one, barrel one up to the fence right now, and bro, the first pitch, wasn't it? The first pitch, dude cracks one. Like, and I just remember I got a great jump on it. And honestly, when he hit it, I'm not even kidding. I was like, I'm catching this ball unless it's over the fence. Like, there was no doubt in my mind when he hit it that I wasn't going to get to it. I just didn't know if it was going to go out, and I didn't know if I was going to have to try to rob it. But I like the way I broke on it. Like, it's so much adrenaline pumping through your veins right there. Like, you don't even know what you just did. Like, you throw the ball in and you look like, what? I just ran that down from where I was at. Yeah, I did that. But hold up, that's one out. That's one out. Like, you gotta keep it cool. Like, I wish I would have did something different. Thinking back, I was like, I should have beat my chest or something, but I wasn't thinking like that. I was like, hey, because what if you do that and then they hit you another one and then you muff it, and then now you out here beating your chest and you just made an error. So I threw it in and I walked in calmly. I was like, come on, we got more to do. All right, it's one out. Let's keep our composure. So it was a super like surreal moment, especially at the end of the call, right? Like, it was from my point of view, I'm like, you're out no matter what. Like, you could step on the bag and run past the bag, and he could have caught the ball. And you had all day. Y'all had all day to get a hit. Don't try to be a hero now. You out. See you tomorrow. Like, do it tomorrow. But no, seriously. I mean, from my point of view, I'm like, I get it. It was a close play. Like, we try to act like it was like, oh, there's no chance. Like, it's a close play. I get it, but I mean, he was out, right? Like, he was out, and it was. I think it was more surprising, than it was. It was just like I wasn't like shocked. I was just kind of like surprised. Like, what? Why would you? Whoa! Why would, like, it wasn't that close to where you couldn't call him out, and then just the chaos after. It was. The fans were going crazy. The team was going crazy. We were trying. A couple of us were trying to get at Jim a little bit. We were having to grab guys and keep guys calm. I kind of felt bad for him a little bit, but I'm like, dude, there's just no way. Like, I'm not gonna mess that. I'm calling, like I said, you are out, buddy. I'm sorry. We could talk about it tomorrow. You out. So it was crazy going into the clubhouse. It was crazy. It was, you had some guys that were mad. I don't know why. I didn't know what to be, if I was mad or I was trying to hold guys back, or Miggy was going crazy, and he's 6'4", he's 280. So try to do something with that when he get mad. It's like, I'm good. So I just remember him and Lloyd McClendon. We walking up the tunnel, walking upstairs to the locker room, and I'm like, man, hey, y'all break it up. I grab Lloyd. He turns around and looks at me. He's like, Jack, get out of my way. And I'm like, okay, like I'm good. Like, I'm good on that. Like, I don't have that in me. When somebody eyes do that, it's like, nah, I don't want none of that. And do we get to the clubhouse and everybody, like I said, it's just very chaotic. And then Armando comes in super calm, just like, hey guys, we won the game. And it was like, it's just like this calmness went over the club. Like, you're right. You're right. Like, at the end of the day, you're right. and then to see, everything the next day and them, meeting at home plate like that, and seeing how emotional this is. Emotional time. I get it. He was, visibly he was emotional about it. He's getting some. He got a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have got, but it was just a very, you don't see that very often. So everybody was pretty emotional about it. But it was awesome. It was awesome to be a part of that. Because there were so many plays made during that game. Like I went back and watched it, and a lot of those plays, yes, they like we're supposed to make those plays as professionals, big leaguers, but those plays get zooed all the time. Like some of those plays get, those little choppers that coming in, dude is hustling real hard, they just beat it out, but everything was just going perfectly. And like I said, I watched it and I was just like, dude, that was special.
Yeah, I rewatched that game a few years ago. It's actually spent a day with Armando and wrote a big story about it. And man, yeah, it's one of those things we could talk about for 30 minutes. Maybe on the anniversary of the game, maybe we will since we got you going forward.
Yeah.
I guess another thing that's endless stories is Jim Leyland goes into the Hall of Fame this past year. Another person I've always been fascinated by. What was it in your mind that made Leyland a successful manager? And everyone's got a funny Jim Leyland story. Do you have any that are top of mind?
Man, the ones I have a few I probably can't share on here.
Sure.
But I think his ability to connect with each and every player, like obviously that's a big important role for a manager to be able to connect with his players. But he just had a unique ability in a unique way of doing it that just made you feel just as big as a Miguel Cabrera or Justin Verlander. Like he made everybody feel like their role was important, which it was. Everybody has a role and everybody has to play their role well. And he just had this unique ability of making you feel like your role was important. And from my time with him, he had this whole different side, I think, that people didn't really realize. You see all the highlights of him, in the umpire's face, and just yelling, doing all that. But he had a different side to him that I think people kind of misunderstood a little bit. Didn't know he could sing. Jim Leyland can sing. Hey, let me tell you something. Jim Lee can cut a little rug out there. Now, hey, I heard him get on it one day in spring training. I said, "What? No, stop it!" But it was also, when I first got to spring training in 2010, he just getting settled in, just putting my stuff down, and he calls me in the office. He's like, "Austin, come here." I'm like, "Oh man, what was he about to say? Like I just got here. What did I do?" And he's like, sit down. He's like, "Hey, we don't want you to be Curtis Granderson." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "We want you to be Austin Jackson." Man, I'm talking about the weight like that took off my shoulders, and because it wasn't like I wasn't scared to be in that position, but there's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of just the unknowns of, oh man, like I'm looking at guys that I watched growing up, and I'm just like, man, I'm just trying to fit in, just trying to make sure I'm not stepping on no toes, doing anything like that. I was confident in my ability, but it was more of just like, how do I fit into this, to the big leagues? I've never done this before. So him saying that right away, just right off the jump, and kind of instilling some confidence in me, like we want Austin Jackson. Like him saying that right there lets me know, like, all right, hey Jack, you go out here and be yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. Go out here and be yourself. Show what you can do. And I mean that, like I said, just his ability to do that, I think, instilled this confidence in his players. I think he was able to do that at an unmatched rate. So,
Well, sticking with the 2010 theme here, I was curious. I went and did some research, and I was curious how much you might remember off the top of your head there, Austin. So, do you remember your major league debut? Now, you got a hit that day, your first major league hit. Do you remember the pitcher that it was off?
Man, righty, sinker, heavy sink, Latin guy, with sink. What was his name, man? I can't remember. With the Royals, right? With the Royals, sink had that kitchen sink, man. What did it start with? Give me the
First initial R, and the last initial T.
I don't know.
Rob Tejada.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Look, they try to throw that little sink on them hands. I just sucked them hands in it. Drop that barrel.
That is exactly what you did. And there were 2 runners on and they scored. So those were your first RBI. Do you remember who scored on that hit?
Was it Sizemore?
Yep.
Was it hold up, don't tell me now. It wasn't Laird, was it?
No.
It was was it Santiago?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got Sizemore and Ramon Santiago, long time Tiger, multi-time Tiger. Do you know who drove you in for your first run?
Was it Santy?
No, it was the next batter. There's your hint. It was the next batter.
Is it Laird?
No, fellow
DK.
Outfielder. Next hit.
DK. Don Kelly?
No.
Was he there? Yeah, he was. Who? Oh, nah, couldn't have been. Because he wouldn't. Man, wow. Was it Maglio?
No.
No.
Right before, right in between you and Maglio in the lineup there.
Who? I'm trying to think. Was it who was playing the outfield though? Switch hitter?
Yes.
What's his name? Oh, I know his name. I'm over here drawing a blank, man. What's his?
Actually, he's not a switch hitter. He's just a lefty. I'm sorry, I misremembered.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Johnny Damon.
Oh, it was Damon?
Damon drove you in. Back-to-back doubles that inning.
In 10.
In 10, yep.
Man, all right. You got me, brother. I don't know that.
I didn't know it either, Austin, or I would have gave you some hints.
Yeah, that got me. That caught me off guard.
All right, last one.
With some deep cuts. All right.
Well, last one. This one probably be easy. Of course, I hope you get it right after I said that. Your first home run. Who'd you hit your first home run off of?
Was it Cody?
Yep, Kobe Lewis over here.
Kobe.
Nice.
Yeah. Center field.
Yep, in Texas. So that must have felt good to do that in your home state, not too far from where you grew up.
Oh yeah, that was good. I had all my people there too, so it was that was perfect. It was awesome to do that in front of a lot of friends and family, people I went to high school with. That was pretty sweet.
Austin, another thing, I think it's hard to talk about your career without mentioning just the trades you were a part of. They're kind of crazy to read back. The first one that brought you to Detroit. Now, I'll read it off for the listeners. Like, Phil Koch and Austin Jackson go to Detroit as part of a 3-team trade. Tigers send Curtis Granderson to the Yankees. The Tigers send Edwin Jackson to the D-backs. The Yankees send Ian Kennedy to the D-backs, and then the D-backs send Max Scherzer and Daniel Schlereth to the Tigers. Yeah. And then in 14, the Rays trade David Price to the Tigers, 3-team trade. Detroit sends Drew Smiley and one Willie Adames to the Rays. The Tigers send you, Austin, to the Mariners, and the Mariners send Nick Franklin to the Rays. 2 real blockbusters, man. What was it like to just look back? And I don't know, just kind of have the knowledge that you were a part of deals like that with some big time players.
I mean, it was cool, man. It was, I think when you, at the time, you know, you don't really process it, man. You're kind of just trying to figure out what the next move is, you know, trying to set things up in whatever city you're going to be at. But I think, you know, now looking back at it, man, it's pretty cool. There's some pretty good players in those trades, man. So, you know, I'm glad to be a part of that. You know, I obviously wasn't always excited to be traded, right? But I think when you look at the names, you're like, hey, you know, there's some names in there though. It wasn't some nobodies. You know, it was some good some good great players in those trades, and I was a part of it. So say what you want to say.
First time must have been jarring, right? You're a young guy, you're trying to make it. Like, how did you find out you were getting moved, and what happened next?
I found out. I remember I was staying I was in a loft in Dallas, in downtown Dallas, and you know, the off season was me, you know, getting trained and ready. I'm like, I remember my hitting coach in AAA asking me if I was ready, you know, if I was ready for the big leagues, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready for the big leagues. Like, I don't want to be here no more. Like, you know, what kind of question is that? Butch Weiniger. Anyways, real great dude. But I remember, so in the off season, you know, the training, you kind of, you know, you use something in the off season to kind of, you know, as fuel. And that was my fuel, you know, just, you know, you set that goal to, you know, play for the New York Yankees in the outfield. So that's how I trained. You know, I was on it. And I remember getting a call. You know, I remember sitting in my loft. I don't know what I was doing, but and I remember, you know, my agent at the time, he was telling me, you know, like, hey, you're getting traded, and I was upset, man. I was not feeling it, because that's what, you know, I didn't understand at that time. I didn't understand. I was like, what did I do wrong? I went out here and did everything they said that, you know, what they asked me to do. You know, I feel like I conformed a lot more probably than I wanted to, and so it was, you know, I was confused. You know, I didn't understand. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, I'm getting traded like I did something wrong. And he's like, see, no, you don't understand. Like, this is an opportunity. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He said, so did you set out just to make it to the big leagues with the Yankees? I was like, I mean, no, I wanted to make it to the big leagues. He was like, this is your opportunity. And I was like, bet. Like that quickly, it changed my mind. So, but obviously, you know, once you find out who you traded for, it's like, okay, whoa, y'all, like I'm stepping in them shoes right now. So, like, now the training got to pick up a little bit more. You know, it's like, oh, okay, like you stepping in for a fan favorite, man. However, you cut it however you want to. Curtis is the man, you know. So it was something knowing that, hey, you know, you're good enough for them to think that, you know, that you're replacing a established center fielder right now, and you ain't got no big league experience, and they think you can come in here and do that job. So you better not disappoint them, you know. Like, that was my mindset. So Curtis is a great guy, by the way, man. He reached out to me really early in that process, and you know, had nothing but good things to say about Detroit. So he's a good dude, man.
You know, nothing against Neftali Feliz, but you got gypped out of Rookie of the Year. Like, come on, like 5.1 WAR your rookie season. If that vote were today, you would win it in a landslide.
Listen, the deal what I get is, you know, is it's like, I understand that, you know, it's 50. What he got? What was his final stat? 50? Was it 50 saves?
Oh, saved 40 saves, 273 ERA. Yeah,
I get it, man, but you know, I'm out here every day. You know, I'm like, man, I'm out here every day, my man. Like, y'all don't see it. Y'all don't see how I done lost about 15, 20 pounds out here. y'all don't see the grind out here. Like my cheeks are touching right now. Like I'm hungry. I'm out here. I'm starving, man. Nah, but it was cool though. You know, that was a cool experience too. You know, just being a part of something like that, right? Like, hey man, your first year, you know, you doing something to be in this. So that was cool. But I agree with you though.
Yeah, you're just ahead of your time. Why don't we wrap up with this, Austin? I think one of the cooler things that the Tigers do is the Willie Horton African American Legacy Award. And last season, now I can say last year since it's January 2nd. Last season, you were recognized by the Tigers, given that award. I want to see if you would just kind of shed some light on what it means to receive recognition like that, especially tied to someone who is as beloved as anyone who's ever put on the uniform in Willie Horton.
I mean, you said it right there, man. I think just being attached to something that Mr. Horton is attached to is a great honor, man. He did so much for me in my time there, and it was things behind the scenes that he helped me so much with, just the little daily nuggets that he would throw me. But as far as their award, it was such an honor to be able to go back, to be able to receive that award with all the legends there and just all the rich history, the Detroit legends that were there, and just to be a part of that and that community, man, it's awesome. It meant so much. I had my family there, and it was a great honor, man. I'm super blessed to be able to be mentioned and receive that award. And hey man, it was an awesome time to get back to Detroit and receive that award.
Absolutely. Well said. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun, and this is only the beginning. So really happy you're a part of the team, Austin. Want to encourage everybody to like, subscribe, rate wherever you listen to your podcast, and make sure to subscribe on YouTube so you can watch us in addition to listening to us. And like I said, I want to thank Austin for joining the team and Cody for his time. So for Cody Stavenhagen, Austin Jackson, I am Kieran Steckley. Everybody have a great day.